And good morning. Welcome to the Out and About Show on 1590 KVGB. Focus on Stafford County today. Due to the holidays, it's been a while since we've had the opportunity to talk with Stafford County Economic Development Director Carolyn Dunn and Program Director Ashley Bevan, who is in on the program today. And a lot of good news to talk about right out of the chute. We've been talking grocery stores since what, last February?
It's been a while, hasn't it? I think the last time we talked on the radio program, we had just gotten the feasibility study, but hadn't even read it yet. It was literally
right off the press.
Right. When you read this, though, it really leads us to the idea of building a new store. It projects sales at 41% higher at a location that's just bigger, has more available to sell, and a location with better traffic, something that can pull some traffic off the highway. It all lends itself to just a store that's set up for long-term success, much more so than the store that was already there. It does have the advantage of not having, the cost of building, but you still do have to invest quite a bit of money in getting coolers and getting it back into shape. And this really suggests that that would not be money well spent, that we'd be better off putting that same money into a store that, like I said, it's going to sell 40% more stuff. It's going to generate more taxes. It's going to employ more people, but really more than anything is just the idea that that store is going to be set up to have profit in a way that it wasn't clear that a smaller store would.
So the meetings with the grocery store committee, and this is really the direction you're looking at going in right now with a new location.
Right.
Okay.
So the grocery committee basically made that recommendation to the city, and then economic development now is looking at, okay, how do we build that building and make it affordable for an operator, because it is, even with the higher volume in a new store, it's still, in the whole scheme of things, a small store. We're looking at a store that would have 7,500 feet of selling space. So that's roughly twice what the old store was.
How many aisles did the old store have? 3?
5, I think.
Okay.
So
twice the size.
Twice the size. It would have amenities like a deli. That's an important aspect that most modern stores have. So it would have that. It would have a pharmacy. That was something we're pretty excited about. We do have a pharmacist that has committed to coming to St. John. So that's an exciting development as well. We've not had a pharmacy in the whole county for quite some time. The game is right now then is finding out how we can finance that cost of construction such that the grocery operator, the pharmacy operator, can afford to pay the rent in, a rural environment that we're in. So it's likely a combination of, we'll have some grants and charitable donations. Some of those have already been secured. In fact, I'd like to give public acknowledgement and thanks to SJN Bank of Kansas, who's donated $50,000 for the purchase of land.
Wow.
We will have a certain amount of what we'll pay for this through those charitable contributions. We also have a grant from Sunflower Foundation that will be $15,000 for some of the planning costs and $60,000 for equipment as we get into that stage of things. We will be working with the city. They implemented a 1% sales tax. That was very much proposed with the thought that we would need to dedicate some of that to getting a grocery store going. So we'll be working with the city on exactly how much and for how long. And then the rent that we do collect from the building will also be used to retire the debt that it takes to build it too.
Will the city be the owner of the building? I mean, how will that work?
We're ironing it out that that economic development would own the building because we're in a better position to take on debt than the city.
What would be the ideal location for this new store?
Ideal location would be on 281 Highway. We have a landowner that has expressed to us that he'll sell the land, but we haven't finalized that contract yet.
Of course, at a hometown discount, right? We're negotiating right now.
We're negotiating. Basically at the entrance of St. John on 281 Highway.
Feedback that you've received so far. People excited about this?
Well, I think they're very much ready to have a grocery store back. We haven't really told them exactly how it's going to be. We're still kind of working out some of the details, but I think it's clear that people really see a grocery store as a number one priority. It's not only in St. John, but I even think about at the beginning of the year when our economic development board met and did goal setting for the year. It was the number one priority of our countywide economic development agencies. I thought that was also a statement that We work broadly. For one, we're not territorial in the way that our organization works. But number two, it's just a priority to have a grocery store in a town.
How big's a pharmacy?
I think it's a big deal to have one here. That's a big reason that people drive to other towns to do their errands. It might be that they need their prescription. And of course, once they're there, then they buy groceries and any number of other things. So if we want to, again, set this store up for success, the idea of having several things together, as in several pieces of retail, the pharmacy and the grocery store, we may consider whether another small retail, kind of a mini strip mall concept might actually make sense because, again, the traffic kind of builds on itself and sets everyone up for more success. We've been talking with a grocery operator in particular that kind of has that model in several other towns. They may have a laundromat, liquor store, and some. The point being that they couple some other pieces of retail together to kind of help pay for the real estate investment and drive traffic, which is ultimately the real name of the game.
Of course, I'm not going to operate this store, so I guess the $1 million question is, who's, I mean, you can't be too specific on that. I know, I don't. But you are working with some people.
We are working with somebody, but it's not a definitive thing yet.
Did you get a lot of interest? I mean, I know you've talked to several people, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. When the city, and it's when the public, I mean, we're talking about putting tax dollars in this and people's charitable donations. It's a lot of people who are putting their investment into this, and we want to make sure that the operator that we have is going to be around for the long term too. So we want to make sure that that operator has a solid track record of success, but secondly, kind of has a stable enough business that, okay, if we sign a 10-year contract that obligates them to hundreds of $1,000s of, lease payments over time, that they've got the ability to pay that too. So we're taking that due diligence pretty seriously.
A lot of things in the works, and you got to be pleased the way this thing's come together. I know people wanted it 6 months ago, but that just wasn't feasible to check out and go through. I mean, you had to get a 1 cent city sales tax passed, and then a grocery committee, and there's been a lot of people working on this. This
wouldn't, I don't think, be possible without that piece of public assistance. So that was really key. And that didn't happen until August. That made it so that others take us seriously too. We can't really have serious discussions about how to finance this without showing our ability to repay, and that 1 cent sales tax was a big part of that.
Okay, it's Focus on Stafford County today on 1590 KVGB. More of today's show right after this. Welcome back. Focus on Stafford County today on 1590 KVGB. Carolyn Dunn, Ashley Bevan in studio with us today. Ashley Bevan's program director for Stafford County Eco Devo. And Ashley, I know you're very involved with the Regional Youth Entrepreneur Contest. And this is the second year for this?
It is. Last year, we took on the duty of actually hosting the competition at the Annex in St. John. But this year, we're just going to sponsor any Stafford County High School students that wish to participate. The Hodgman County Economic Development Director, Leanne Seiler, has taken it upon herself to host this year's event, which will take place Monday, March 13th at the King Center in Jetmore, beginning at 9 a.m. Other participating counties are Edwards and Ness. We currently have a few Stafford students interested. If there's others that are interested, they have to be signed up by next Friday to be able to participate. They will be competing for $1,750 in cash prizes, so that's fairly exciting. And then the top business performer will actually be guaranteed a position to compete in the state championship at Fort Hays State University in April for more cash prizes.
This was a neat event a year ago.
It was. I think it ended up being more of a success than what we thought it would be. We had a lot more students participate than we originally thought we would, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Did the quality of some of the entries kind of just, wow?
Yes, because I don't know. I wasn't thinking like that when I was a high schooler, however many years ago. Yeah. Entrepreneurship was not a topic when I was in high school, and that's been like 6 years ago.
My gosh, you're just over the hill. You need to get caught up on what's going on with this. But it was, and Stafford County kids did pretty good last year.
Yeah, we had a big representation from the Seed Center students in Stafford.
And so this is again coming up in
March.
Okay.
Yep. Out in Jetmore.
Okay. If you want to get signed up, you need to here very quickly. Ashley Bevan joining us here on Focus on Stafford County. More of today's show right after this. Welcome back. It's a Focus on Stafford County show here on 1590 KVGB. Carolyn Dunn, Ashley Bevan in studio with us today. First visit. Did we talk in November or not? Because that was on Thanksgiving. It's been October, right?
Right.
So all the news coming out today, moving forward with a new location for a grocery store and in St. John. And also a pharmacy is committed to come to the community as well. So some great news. Ashley with news on the Regional Youth Entrepreneurship Contest. Now, $100,000 awarded to Stafford County for moderate income housing grants to provide down payment subsidies for new housing construction. How does that work, Carolyn?
Well, this is a variation from the other housing programs that we've done before, but might sound familiar to listeners because similar programs have been done in Great Bend and Lyons. Essentially, this provides a $25,000 subsidy for down payment to make new construction affordable for moderate income home buyers. And the other element that this kind of addresses is that some of the challenges of getting new housing built in a lot of our rural towns is that there aren't other comparables or banks to use to establish that, yes, a house is worth that value in that town. So whereas these houses, for example, will cost $170,000 to build, if there are another $170,000 houses in the town, then it's going to be hard to get bank financing regardless of what credit you have. When we can essentially buy down the cost of that house so that the bank is only financing $140,000, then that becomes a lot more feasible to get the houses financed and built. So we're trying to kind of prime the pump here with this. And the way this will work, the people have to have the ability to finance the mortgage on their own. So we need to see that they are pre-approved from a bank to purchase this $140,000 left to finance. They will need to provide us $5,000 in earnest money to begin the process. And we have 3 house plans through Housing Opportunities, Inc. that they can choose from that are each, will be constructed for that price firm point of $170,000. They'll have the choice of, they'll get to make all the finish choices along the way. The colors of the walls and the carpet and the countertops and the cabinets and the siding and the accent rock on the outside of the house and those kinds of things. They'll have a range of choices. Economic Development will own the house through that building process, thereby avoiding the need for a construction loan, which that in and of itself can be one of the things that makes new home building difficult, and especially maybe for a first-time home buyer or the like. So we'll essentially finance that construction period of the house, and then at the completion, sell them the house. That's when the $25,000 down payment subsidy is applied. And when you consider they've already put down $5,000, they get $25,000 as a subsidy. That leaves $140,000 that's left for them to be responsible for financing.
Who would be interested in taking advantage of this? I mean, is it got to be a new resident to Stafford County?
Doesn't have to be new. No, they do have to fall into a range that's defined as moderate income. It's a chart that depends on what your family size is. But I looked at the chart today for a family of one, and it was essentially between $24,000 and $70,000 for a family of one. I am kind of going off the top of my head here, but I think it goes up to like about $108,000 for a family of 4. So I would say a lot of the incomes that are characteristic of our county should qualify for that.
Okay, that is, how can people find out more about that if they're interested?
They can check out our website, StaffordEcoDevo.com, or give us a call at the office, 620-549-3527.
You have made had a lot of relationships during your tenure as the Economic Development Director for Stafford County. And I know that you'd like to, I guess, say thank you. A couple other partners helping to do some other great things in Stafford County.
Right. Well, we are continuing to raise funds to build the Business Incubator. I've talked about that before. Quite candidly, our final bids on that came in higher than the original estimates are. So it required me to keep working on the fundraising side of things. And we do have 2 additional grants that are contributing to that, and would like to acknowledge those because they are local businesses. Midwest Energy has given us a grant. And also, one of them is actually, it's a national organization called the Foundation for Rural Service, but it's essentially a cooperative based on rural telephone businesses. And Golden Belt Telephone was our conduit to that. So they'll be contributing $5,000 to our campaign.
So where are we at on the Launch Pad Incubator?
We are about 75% there. We're close. It'll happen in 2017.
And again, the Launch Pad Business Incubator will be?
It's a space that we'll build on a vacant downtown lot in St. John. So it has several purposes. One, it's a bit of a downtown revitalization. As far as business stimulation, it provides a ready-to-go space for someone to start a business, but not just the space for the business itself. It's on the second floor, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. And so that'll give us the ability to kind of have a good place to recruit young, especially if we kind of want to work with the universities that are cultivating a lot of these skills in students right now. What my observation is, if they finish those programs without a clearly defined path to follow those ideas, it's a lot easier to take a job in one of the corporate settings. We actually experienced that last year with a group that we'd been talking with. With this business incubator, our intent is to have a more that clearly defined path. Hey, you can come here, you can live here. We'll help you with, support in terms of mentoring and coaching, helping find financing and so forth with your business for a period of time before you take it and run with it outside the walls of our incubator, and we'll start over with someone new.
You had any interest from anyone? I mean,
We have. Actually, there's been one St. John alumni in particular that we've stayed in touch with, who is an engineer by education, and that's his career. He's interested enough to be in conversations with us, but we also kind of have to more clearly define some of the things on our end too.
But it's coming.
It's coming.
In 2017. Wow. A lot of things going on, as always, in Stafford County. Look at what happens. You don't come in for a couple months and you have a grocery store and a pharmacy. Guys, thanks for coming in, and you can always go to StaffordEcoDevo.com to find out the latest on what's going on, because Ashley does that, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, very nice job as well. It's going to wrap up our show today here on 1590 KVGB, Focus on Stafford County. We get an opportunity to talk with Carolyn and Ashley once a month here on the program.